The plainest Jane. This is one of my favorite comments here. She says, I loves me some black, and she said, loves me some black news. She says, is it just me, or does anyone else get tired of seeing people that don't look like them delivering info about them day in and day out?
Yes, indeed. You know, things are always sticky in Hollywood and in real life. Now, you know, over here on my channel, I take pride and pleasure in putting celebrities on the back burner for a second and talking about real world issues and things that are affecting real Black people. So today we're honing in on a white woman who stabbed her Black boyfriend to death in Miami, Florida, and she posted thirst traps on her OnlyFans immediately after. This was a popular OnlyFans model. She has over 2 million followers on Instagram. Now, what's really interesting about this story, it's really eerie, it's really devastating, it takes a couple of twists and turns, is she is currently the one being protected, as her name is not being released to the media because she's being protected under specific laws, and she's now claiming mental health. This is very concerning. It's eerie. Guard your mental health as you make your way in, and hit thumbs up, okay? The following video is broadcasting live, and thank you for being my studio audience. Thank you for hitting thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more Black news, celebrity entertainment, and a splash of controversy. Now, shout out to the people catching this video live. Like I said, thank you for hitting thumbs up on this video, and let's get right into it. I've aggregated a lot of information. I've got witness testimony, neighbor testimony, friend statements, and even statements from the family of the victim that we have here. So it took some time to get all this aggregated, but I'm anxious to get this information out because I think it's really important. Forget what all the celebrities are talking about. Let's talk about what's happening in the Black world. Now, before I get into breaking down today's breaking Black news, if you're not quite feeling all right, this may not be the stream that's going to help you sit back and decompress. You make sure that you check in on yourself. We're definitely living in some crazy times. And although YouTube is one of those places where, of course, we want as many people as possible to view our content, your mental health is more important than anything. And it can be devastating seeing Black and brown and marginalized people dying every day. So if you need to click away, because I will issue you a trigger warning, definitely make sure you go ahead and do that. Now, of course, before I get started, make sure you subscribe, make sure you thumbs up or down. Either way, I appreciate it, but make sure you think critically and independently, regardless of what you hear from me or anybody else. So let's get right into it. For legal purposes, all things stated are alleged and according to reports, and there is a full copyright disclaimer in full effect. Now, the victim in this situation, this Black man was 27 years old. His name was Christian Toby Obumseli, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Christian Toby. This was a horrible, a bloody, and a gruesome death. This took place in a condo in Miami, Florida. Now, again, he was 27 years old, and he was just 1 week shy of his 28th birthday. Now, first responders weren't sure if he was awake or not during this fatal stabbing that took place this past Sunday on April 3rd. CBS 4, I was able to find, spoke with several residents in the Miami Edgewater neighborhood, and they say they recently received an email about a domestic incident. We are going to go over that email in just a second because, of course, you know I got it for you. And I will be following this story, so you definitely want to make sure you subscribe for any and all updates surrounding this situation. Quick, just fun fact, I actually found out about this story because I follow Megan Good on Instagram, and a few hours ago I saw she posted it. This is out of the norm for a Megan Good. Y'all know she usually posts her pictures of her looking the way that she looking after her divorce, and she posted it, and I immediately dove into investigative mode, and I found that this is definitely a conversation worth having, a story that actually prompts us to discuss if divesting is a risk worth taking when we're in the Black community. So as you're watching, get comfortable, hit thumbs up. Let me know how you're feeling about it down below. Like I said, this is a story that takes several twists and turns. So they received an email about this domestic incident. Family and friends of the victim were able to confirm that the man killed was 27-year-old Christian Toby Obumseli. Okay. Now, he died after being transported to Miami Fire Rescue to JMH's Ryder Trauma Center. Now, while the family is seeking answers because the police are refusing to release the killer's identity to the public. Of course, I have her identity. I have some images, and we're going to get into this stuff. The friends of the victim came forward with the identity of the woman responsible for murdering this man. Let's get into this news clip, and then I'm going to come back and give you some information, because this is a woman, again, she's now claiming mental health, which is protecting her in a sense. And I wonder if she will be held accountable, because yes, she was released on bond after she stabbed this man to death in cold blood.
Sunday evening, Miami police were called to the Paraiso condos in Edgewater, where they found Christian stabbed near lifeless. Medics rushed him to Ryder Trauma, where he later died. Police say this was a domestic situation, and they detained a woman not too long after the stabbing after they arrived. But she, Baker acted, meaning that she had to involuntarily be taken to a mental health hospital. That woman has not been formally charged, so we are not identifying her. But Florida's Baker Act requires up to a 72-hour hold for evaluation.
So if you're not familiar with the Baker Act, let me give you a brief definition. The Baker Act is a Florida law that enables families and loved ones to provide emergency mental health services and temporary detention for people who are impaired because of their mental illness and who are unable to determine their needs for treatment. People who require the use of the Baker Act have often lost the power of self-control, and they're likely to inflict harm to themselves or others. It's important that the Baker Act only be used in situations where the person has a mental illness and meets all of the remaining criteria for voluntary or involuntary admission. It does not, and I repeat, it does not substitute for any other law that may permit the provision of medical or substance abuse care to persons who lack the capacity to request such care. Okay, so that is what the Baker Act is, and it really seems as though her crying out for quote unquote mental health or using that guise, that is being prioritized over this lost Black life. Now, here's what the friends of Toby had to say about the incident. They say, and I quote, "It seems as though this story is being silenced. Courtney Tailor is her name, and she killed her boyfriend, Christian, Toby, Sunday night in their Miami condo. She's been using the Baker Act so the news can't release her name. It is not confirmed whether or not she killed him in his sleep or if he was awake during this altercation. What we do know is that she did stab him and took his life. Please don't support her in buying any of her OnlyFans content. And as the story unfolds, we will share more. We just want to make sure the media doesn't make Christian out to be the bad guy. We're speaking on this because my boyfriend and I were closest to them in friendship. And after talking to their family, it seems as though the family was in the dark about how toxic their relationship was and all the abuse that happened leading up to this," end quote. Okay, so this is a situation, again, it's devastating, it's eerie, but all the twists and turns are not quite done yet. Again, her name is Courtney Tailor. Of course, her comments are limited on Instagram. I was able to visit. She has 2 different Instagram accounts. We're even going to get into her OnlyFans post, which of course I have screenshots of in a minute, and we're going to get into the email that the condo building sent out to all of the residents after this took place. You'll take a look at this B-roll footage that I have rolling right here as well, and you'll see that there was a resident in the building who took some footage of all of the police activity outside of the building as well. So be sure to screenshot as much as you would like as the B-roll rolls across the screen, and I have a lot more details and information to give you. Again, I did a lot of work aggregating all of this stuff for you. So thank you so much for, number one, watching the stream and sharing the stream, because this is something that is being silenced by the media, and it more than likely is a piece of content that will continue to be suppressed by not only YouTube and its algorithm, but just media in general. So here's what witnesses and neighbors have to say. A witness stated that there was blood all over the valet, and he was bleeding out next to his $300,000 Rolls Royce SUV. This was a bloody murder with loud screams and blood everywhere, an eyewitness was able to say. A neighbor said that they have a long history of domestic violence. The neighbor said that she called the police at least 7 times in the last month. Now, this is really interesting. I don't know how the neighbor would really quite understand who called the police or who was at fault. When you think about who has called the police, a lot of times you think about who is in fear or who is in danger. So I'm not sure how accurate that neighbor's testimony can be, but the witness testimony was definitely something that kind of almost dropped my jaw as I was aggregating all of this information. Blood all over the valet, bleeding out next to $300,000 Rolls Royce, bloody murder, loud screams. This is really insane. I want to get into what the brother had to say in a really heartfelt Instagram post with some family photos. Let's take a look at this. So the brother says, I honestly can't believe I'm writing this. It's with the heaviest heart I announced the murder of my younger brother, Christian Toby, who was brutally killed Sunday, a week from his 28th birthday. I'm totally at a loss for words. He didn't deserve this. Now, there is more that he had to say, and you know what I'm actually going to do when this stream ends? I'm going to put the GoFundMe link down below in the description box, because there is a GoFundMe that the brother has created as they process this and they get ready to prepare to lay his brother to rest. There is a GoFundMe that they have set up. The rest of what he had to say in this post was, this is a lot to process. Thank you to everyone who has reached out. Your support is truly felt and appreciated during this devastating time. I ask the community to please pray for me and my family. Pray for strength for the long road ahead to justice. Please consider donating to the GoFundMe as we lay my brother to rest and seek justice, is what his brother had to say. Now, let's move forward and get into the email that the condominiums sent out to all of the residents in the building. So here is the email. We can see the address of the building where this took place. It says, domestic disturbance at the P1 elevator. Dear residents, please be advised there was a domestic altercation that took place earlier today in one of our line units. The local authorities arrived at the scene and are handling the matter. As such, they've requested that the P1 elevator be taken out of service for the time being. In speaking with them, I've learned that we should be able to restore service early tomorrow morning. Rest assured, there are no safety concerns with our elevator nor the property. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. Okay. So this is the email that was sent out. I see someone in the comments says there's a GoFundMe already. I mean, you know, it is Thursday morning and this did take place on Sunday, and most people lay their loved ones to rest within a week, unless they're kind of having some issues trying to get family into town, or they're having issues getting the funds together. So again, this did take place on Sunday. It is Thursday. Is it Thursday morning? It's Thursday, correct? Yeah, it's Thursday morning. So I don't think that that's, you know, quite suspicious at all. But nonetheless, let's just keep going with some of the story. And again, thank you to everybody in the chat who's watching live. Now, here's where the story gets even stranger. Again, this took place on this past Sunday, April the 3rd. Her name is Courtney Tailor. Again, she posted to her OnlyFans immediately after this happened. She was released on bond, according to reports. So she killed this man in cold blood. She was arrested or detained a little bit later. She was then released on bond, and then she was taken in, quote unquote, voluntarily or involuntarily into under the Baker Act because of quote unquote mental health. But again, she posted several pictures and several thirst traps to her OnlyFans. Let's get into them. I have 4 screenshots that she posted after she murdered this man. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember the story of Jodi Arias, but it's definitely giving me Jodi Arias vibes. And listen, I'm not saying that there's no, I feel like more than half of people in the United States have, some issues with mental health. All cases may not be as severe as the next. However, it doesn't mean that just because you may be a person suffering or living with mental illness that you can't or you shouldn't be held accountable for your actions. You are a murderer, whether you're living with mental illness or not. And I hope that she is still being held accountable, that she will still be held accountable by the court of law, despite the Baker Act that she's using to protect herself in the media. Again, she is a very popular OnlyFans model. I was able to visit her social medias, and she does have over 2 million followers on Instagram. You can see this took place on April the 3rd, according to all of the reports. You can see that this thirst trap here is on April 4th, the wee hours of the morning of April 4th. She is posting her thirst traps to her page. Okay, so these are screenshots from some of the people who are subscribed to her OnlyFans. And you know, Jodi Arias was a person who killed her boyfriend in cold blood, and she actually danced around the body and did all other types of things after she did so. Sick and she actually slit his throat from here to here and stabbed him a crazy amount of times, well over 10 or 20 times, and danced around the body afterwards. And she's still serving her time, as she should. Let's zoom into this thirst trap. Again, you see it's dated April the 4th, which is the day after the murder. She says blondes have wetter. This is a cat emoji, so she's clearly talking about her sunshine, her Susie, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, I don't make the rules, she says. So she just stabbed a man to death. He bled out next to his car, his $300,000 car, and she's here posting these sorts of thirst traps. What's the caption on this one? When you see it. When you see it. Girl, see what? Girl, so you showing, girl. Okay. Moving on to the next one. She seems to be in a doctor's office here. Here's one from April 3rd. Okay, now turn your head and cough. Now, this is obviously her sitting in a doctor's office. And, you know, that caption is just, I won't even get into describing that caption, although I do understand what she's trying to say. Let's get into the last picture that I'm going to show you. And then we have some more details and statements from family and friends of the victim. Long hair, don't care. She types here. And here's another post from her as well. Okay. They said she's giving Jodi Arias vibes. Absolutely. She definitely seems to be very much like Jodi Arias mentally. Physically, I'm not really quite sure if she looks too much like her, but, you know, mentally, it seems like something may be off. But, you know, two things can be true at once. You can be a person living with mental illness, suffering from mental illness, and somebody who's also vindictive, evil, malicious, and capable of manipulation and trying to manipulate a narrative. And so these are some of the things that she was posting after she killed this black man in cold blood. Okay, so let me know how you feel about this down below in the comments, but don't stop there. I have a little bit more to get into. Now, we got into what the brother stated. I do have a statement from the cousin as well. Okay, and this is a story that I will be following. So any and all updates, I'm definitely coming right back to my platform and I'm going to update you on. And thank you so much for sharing this video, sharing this news story. The story needs more exposure. Please share this via text message, via Twitter, via Facebook, or however it is that you share content. This is the cousin's social media that I was able to track down. Okay, he says, while I'm thankful for the national media coverage regarding my cousin's murder, I'm also aware of what comes next with it. Regardless of what is said or the future narrative created, I hope what isn't missed is my family's humanity. That my cousin told our grandmother he would see her for his B-Day next week. And now we have to find a way to tell our 92-year-old grandma he's dead without destroying or killing her in the process. It's real life, not entertainment. I play about a lot, but family ain't one. Tread lightly with the opinions. And I definitely understand what he's saying. I mean, just look at this optic wise. This is a black man killed by a white woman. And already we have this narrative from neighbors stating that, oh, well, you know, they argued a lot and she called the police on him 7 times last month and no one was there. The friends and the family are both saying something a little bit different than just how this looks optically. And she's now seeking or claiming mental health. So let me get into this news clip one more time. And I want to hear from you and know how you are feeling about this story.
Sunday evening, Miami police were called to the Paraiso condos in Edgewater, where they found Christian stabbed near lifeless. Medics rushed him to Ryder Trauma, where he later died. Police say this was a domestic situation and they detained a woman not too long after the stabbing after they arrived. But she, Baker acted, meaning that she had to involuntarily be taken to a mental health hospital. That woman has not been formally charged, so we are not identifying her. But Florida's Baker Act requires up to a 72-hour hold for evaluation.
Again, she's not been formally charged. I don't understand why. But you know what? I want to hear from you. I know that a lot of people feel, or some people rather, feel like divesting as Black people is a good idea. And I want to know if you think that this is a story of divesting gone wrong. This is just a really sad story. Dating people, this is why a lot of people feel like dating people who had you or had our, because I'm a Black woman. I'm an 100% Black person. And dating people who had your or our ancestors as slaves, it can be dangerous at times because optics based on stigma and stereotypes will vilify you first and ask questions later. Again, you got a Black person, a white person at a scene, regardless of where the gender roles lie. Black person, white person, and it's easy to have the complexion for protection to look like or to become the victim in the situation. And people are going to ask questions later, but they're going to assume the worst first. And I just want to know how you feel about this situation. This is a woman that is now claiming mental illness, and somehow that seems to be taking priority over this Black man's life. Again, she was released on bond, and she is now the one being protected while this man's legacy lies up in the air. And it really depends on how the media is going to run with this. We know what the Black media is going to do. We're going to give all of our empathy and our concern to this Black man because we know how this goes. But as far as white media, the narrative may easily be flipped. And I think that this is the reason why the cousin made the statements that he made, as again, it's right here on the screen with regards to how the media may flip this into something different. This is a really sad story that I literally rolled over and read about 2 or so hours ago. And I decided that I wanted to get up and talk about it and spread more awareness. So be sure to tag me in all of your favorite trending topics on Instagram and on Twitter. This is a story that I'm invested in, and I will be following it closely. I usually give a sticky note, which is a motivational quote at the end of all of my videos. It's a part of my format. But I don't really have one for you today outside of stay safe and guard your spirit. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. I appreciate your time and energy. I take none of that for granted. Let me know your thoughts on this story. Do you think that this is a case of divesting gone wrong? Do you think that Courtney Tailor will be held accountable for killing Toby, Christian Toby? Any and all comments, keep it sticky and real with me down below in the comments. Don't forget to check in on yourself. And most importantly, as I always say, hold on to your loved ones, okay? The following video is broadcasting live, and thank you for being my studio audience. Thank you for hitting thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more Black news, celebrity entertainment, and a splash of controversy. Don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up or down. Either way, I appreciate it. But make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of the celebrity or trending syrup that I talk about here on my channel. But most importantly, make sure you don't miss out on any of the very necessary breaking Black news that I am dedicated to delivering you here on this channel. I take pleasure in putting celebrities on the back burner and talking about what really matters and real problems that affect everyday folk like you and me, because you and me don't live the same life as a Beyonce, a Jay-Z, a Kanye, or a Kim. So it's important. We talk about Kim and them just for shits and giggles, but it's important to cover things like this. And a lot of your favorite bloggers, a lot of the larger platforms, they're more interested in running with salacious headlines and celebrity headlines because they get more views. I will gladly take the hit. I will gladly talk about things that matter, not in hopes of getting more views, but in hopes of really doing the work to spread the awareness and create the dialogue and the conversation, and to use my platform and use my voice and my influence to talk about things that really matter and that really affect all of us. That is stuff that is really important to me. Okay. So thank you so much for stopping past my channel. Don't forget to hit thumbs up. Don't forget to share the stream with someone via text message who needs more information. Like I said, I will be following this story. Listen, drop one of them pancake emojis and y'all say beautiful, black, and blessed. Until the next video. Deuces.
Rolex on your wrist, a plain Jane.
But that's it. If you want to catch more of my commentary on Black culture or vital and trending information, be sure to subscribe by hitting that little circle in the middle of the screen, or I'll catch you in one of these rectangles to the right in another video. I'll see you there.